we are back. This is HTKTT. I am Lord Thompson. As you already know, this is
Celeb,
Raji,
Jay,
and we have a lovely new member. Introduce yourself to the people.
okay, Emma.
Right. Okay, now Emma Savage, another Emma, not this Emma, the other Emma, can't be here today. So we're sending Emma love. Hey. But busy schedules. But that also brings me on to our first topic, which I'd like to call it the McDonald's drive-through age that I feel we all live in at the minute. And I'm going to tell the story. Like at the birth of this talk show, I just had the idea of it, and I spoke to someone at work it was a Wednesday. I was like, oh, I've got an idea for a talk show and this and that. I'd gone to sleep, gone back to work on the Thursday. She was in again on the Friday. And she was like, oh, so have you filmed it yet? Is it up? Where can I watch it? And I'm like, it's only been a day. How was that possible? But then I was like, oh my God, should I have filmed it already? Why have I not made time to film it? And I just kind of get the sense that with this Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and all that, everything happening really quickly, that we're not giving things the time to grow that they need. And then we're chastising ourselves because we're not somewhere that is physically impossible to be. Like a seed takes years to grow into a tree, but it's going to grow into that tree. It just needs that time. But are we not giving ourselves that time in this day and age?
I think it's about manifesting and attracting it to yourself, personally. But please don't kill me.
I really felt like you just threw out a load of buzzwords there, and I need you to actually get to the point of what you meant.
So if you want to do something or achieve something, and I know you do this anyway, but I think that it's putting it into your brain and it's attracting it to yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have the time to attract it to ourselves because we might get up and go to work and stuff, but I think anyone can attract anything if you've got the mental.
but I feel like what Lawrence is saying is that I have done that and it is coming to me, but it takes more than 2 seconds to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So what he said, I feel like what you're saying is when outside people are like, that's not done yet? Oh. And then you kind of think to yourself, oh my God, why is it not done yet?
Yeah.
But then does that
get done in a day.
Does that lead to us thinking that we need to do things to other people's expectations and time levels? Because it's about your goal and where you're going in your time and your pace.
Of course, and I fully get that. And even when I was rushing myself, there were people who were like, "Chill out, like you've still got time to do this."
Yeah.
But when that's all the feedback you're getting, and you're also worrying yourself, sometimes that takes over your mind, and then you start thinking, and it takes an incredible amount of strength. And I've only learned this through things I've wanted taking an incredibly long time, to the point where I just had to sit down and say, okay, and then it happened. And that happened with a few things, and they took years, but then that showed me that no, they are going to come, and just be patient. So now when people are like, oh, isn't that done yet, it actually gets to the point where I just don't say anything.
You're not take that on
Yeah,
board, yeah.
I just leave it so I don't get the outside, oh, I know you're going to get that anyway, but you don't need that.
I feel like it gets
already
amplified though when you've given yourself that deadline and you want something that bad, and then someone outside says to you, oh, it's not done, and then you was already feeling bad, and now you feel
It's almost belittling,
you know what I mean?
I think.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's not done. Oh, okay. And then it's like,
Yeah.
But then it's about what it actually is, because if something would naturally take a long time, we have to understand that that particular thing takes a long time. But then sometimes we are procrastinating, and
That's true.
if we've got the wrong idea about it, then we are just wasting time. But then while you were speaking about it, I was thinking about how sometimes I binge watch television shows, and I'm thinking, oh, is that a bad thing that I need to watch the whole series now? But then I think actually maybe it's a good thing that I've just taken out this afternoon, just doing something that is just completely different from the rest of my life. Maybe that's a positive thing rather than a negative thing.
It's what your brain's wanting to give it.
Alright, I like what you said about binge watching, because I thought that I needed to do lots of things and I needed to do them faster.
Yeah.
I was trying to do them all at once.
Yeah.
As opposed to that
that thing of chunking it down.
Yeah, and when I was trying to do it all at once, like something had fallen, then something else had fallen, then I'd be like, oh, and then I have to pick everything up again. And then what I've started doing is like, right, this, and this needs to be done. That, I've paused. This,
Priority levels. Priorities.
done.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm doing it now. And then this, done.
But
So
then what
this
about when
thing,
someone wanders in and says, oh, what's happening with this one over here? And
Punch
that's
in the
on
mouth.
now that's why now I've gotten to the place where I'm like, that's coming.
Yeah, someone says, oh, that's not done yet. That's one of the
It's
things
on
you've already
hold.
put on. Yeah.
I'm watching this series. We'll do that series next.
Yes! Netflix your life.
Exactly.
But it's like, yeah.
Don't forget to chill.
I'm gonna watch. So I'm gonna watch this series now,
Yeah.
and like generally, I feel like whatever I'm watching is kind of it's the vibe of what I need to be doing next. So
At
I'm
this
in
moment.
that
Okay, so I have a
mindset
question
to do
for
that.
you.
Go.
So you see how she says she'll binge watch a program and things like that. That's available to us now. So remember when we was young and you used to go to the movies, and a year later it would come out on video. Show my age, right? But now,
What are videos?
oh yeah, video. What
They
is that?
are.
But now it comes out, and before it's even left the cinema, the DVD's out.
Yeah.
So everything's like you're saying, everything's been condensed down into a lot shorter time. So when you're saying you binge watch something, that's something that's now readily available to you, but wouldn't usually be. So
Yeah.
should that have taken that time, or are you already condensing into what society is now allowing you to push into smaller and smaller time gaps? You know what I mean?
I think. Sorry, I'll let you speak in a minute. I think both is happening. We are doing things faster. Things are available to us faster, but. I'm literally running with this as I'm going. We still have the same amount of time to live. And there are certain things that naturally were going to happen and just take that time. It takes you 10 years to be 10 years older.
Yeah.
You can't rush that. So I can do lots more things
But
in
then
between that, but I won't be 10 years older until 10 years
But
time.
what I'm saying is, are we rushing the things that should take the 10 years, but we've decided, no, I want to be 10 years older in 5. Do you see what I mean?
But then that's what I'm saying. That's what the battle is. You can't rush it. You're trying to rush it, but you can't.
Maybe that's where the conflict
You
comes from.
can't.
That's what
And
makes us
then
feel bad.
then you're feeling bad because you're trying to do something that's not possible to do. Not possible to do, but not possible to do in that time frame. Like you will get there. And the way I broke it down is like, God willing, probably going to be here for another 30, 40 years. That's quite a significant chunk of time. I've already done quite a lot in the first however many years I've been here. So why can't I then do everything else I want to do in that time? And once I got that clear in my mind, if anyone was rushing me, I'm like, cool, that's good. I know it's going to happen, and I'm going to be patient and let that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, two things come to mind for me. Is I recognise that performance anxiety
Yeah.
about
Oh,
life,
yeah.
like every day monitoring how well I'm doing
Yeah.
today towards my goals. And so if someone says to me, how's that going, like that girl said to you,
Yeah.
it totally depends on how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
You know, they can ask me and I'll feel guilt, or they can ask me and I'll feel at peace with wherever it's at.
Mhm.
You know. And the other thing is the idea that we can have everything but in chapters.
Yeah.
And definitely as a woman, that's how I've come to understand having a family, relationship, you know, career, etc., etc. Understanding, yes, I can have everything, but maybe it will be in chapters as opposed to all have to force it all.
I like
at
that.
once.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
This,
like that.
this is the part of this is the part of the story that I'm at.
Yeah.
Next
Right
chapter
now.
will come.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that. I'm gonna start living by that. Thank you, Em. No, I'm really serious. I know that sounded really silly, but
No.
seriously, that really does help.
And I also think it's about understanding that sometimes your story changes. Sometimes what you want changes. And I think because I'm also now, like, I know this about me and certain people know this about me. Like, when I want something, like I'll put it out there and I'll keep talking about it. And I'll talk to about this person, that person, with that person, with that person, with that person,
Yeah.
and then I've got everyone talking about it and putting it out there, and then I'll stop talking about it because then it's done, and then I'll start talking about the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always talking about things well in advance before they happen. So I can understand why people think, well, how's that not like,
Happened yet.
like that's not happening, but the thing I was talking about way back then, that's now happening. Like, I planned out this entire year in December. So like my new year is like November, December, because I've already planned like, what do I want this year? What do I want from that year? What do I want from that year? And sometimes it changes, and I understand those changes, but because people heard me saying one thing, they're like, oh, why isn't that the thing? Because that's not the thing anymore. And I'm fine with that, because the thing, like this started, I eventually wanted to end up doing a talk show, and I was going to say, oh yeah, I'll get there eventually, and I was like, well, if you're going to be there, why don't you just practice now so you can learn all this stuff? And we were going to write a TV series, and then we were going to film the TV series, and then from that I was like, oh, let's just film the talk show. But it started as this was going to be a TV series, and through all the whatevers, it's ended up being this. So all those things that weren't quite what I wanted and weren't the plan, kind of worked out.
I'm a bit different. I know what I want to do, and I've got it written down in my brain or in my books or whatever, but with me I kind of just wake up and just go with the flow. I just kind of think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and if it's not, it's not. And you just wake up and you just do what you got to do, go to sleep, and then just crack on with it.
Yeah, but
the
it's
next
that
day.
do what you got to do. That's the bit like, have you decided?
I know what I've got to do,
But that's the
and I put
the
my
pre-planning
priorities.
that Lawrence is talking
Yeah,
about. He just
But
plans
are
for
you-
you.
Go on. Sorry.
But you see what I mean? That do what you got to do is your pre-planning.
Yeah.
So Lawrence, and I've known him for a long time. He is a good pre-planner. You know,
Ridiculous.
really good pre-planner. And so when he tells you something, he's right. Things change.
Yeah, they do.
And you don't necessarily see those changes.
Yeah.
So suddenly, what he was doing when he told you to begin with isn't what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that fell apart. It means
Yeah,
he's
it's
adapted
happening.
that.
I don't think it's anyone's
But
business.
you're doing what
you're
you've got
trying
to do is your pre-planning.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how would you know what that is? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't pre-plan like when it comes to my work life. I pre-plan everything. I know what's happening in 3 weeks' time. I have to. It's what I do. But with my life, I just think because I've been through so much, I'm so fed up of like walking down a straight line. I like waking up and being a bit of a nutcase and a bit of a scat, but I know in the back of my head what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. But I don't put too much focus. I put the good energy into it, and I know it's going to happen, but I don't put too much focus into it. And with me, if I talk to people and say, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and if they say, oh, you know, how's that going? In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, it's going great, but at the same time, is it anything to do with you?
All right, I get that. I just want to ask you a question.
You know what
You
I'm
said
Yeah.
you know what you're doing and you're doing it, but then you get up every day and just let things happen. Are you doing it?
Yeah.
If you just let things
Yeah.
If
happen.
you're just letting,
I'm just going with the flow with it.
but
But then are you
That's
doing what you need to?
you're saying I feel
Yeah.
like you're saying two different things.
No, but
Okay,
okay,
so let's just use what we're doing today for an example.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know that I'm doing it, and I know that it's going to happen, and I'm like, great, it's going to happen. We're going to meet up on the 18th, and we're going to film, and we're going to have a good day.
But that's pre-planning.
Yeah, I know. But
So
I
when
don't
you
put
woke
too
up this
much-
morning, did you know what you was going to wear today? Did you know how you was getting here? Did you know things like that?
You have no idea what I
Right.
went through this morning. I was in Camden
But
last
you
night.
knew you was getting up to get dressed to come here, so you knew what you were doing. Even if you didn't know exactly what you was going to wear, you knew that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
But I don't put too much.
Maybe you
thought
didn't
in-
think, I'm going to wear that necklace with that earrings.
I just think it
But you
stresses
knew
me out.
you was
I get
gonna
more
have to go
stressed out when I
into
think about it too much.
this. Yeah.
I see we were talking about this before. Like I feel like this board is dominating. I planned the menu last week. I bought the food for today on
I
Friday.
wish you could smell
I
what's
picked my
cooking.
outfits out last week. I ironed them last night.
Yeah.
And I set my alarm this morning and I did because otherwise.
Yeah, but as we
I'm not
said, you
a
are
nice person.
meticulous.
I'm not a nice person
You
at all.
are. Every
'Cause
little
that would
detail is
freak
you.
me
Oh,
out.
yeah, it would.
But let's just see what happens.
When it comes to like going away and doing
No
things,
offense.
like
Laugh.
when it comes to going away and organising things, I know that, again, I know it's going to happen, but then my friend Sarah, she's so organised, like when she's woken up in the 10 minutes, right, we're doing this, and we're staying here, we're doing this, and I'll by this time, but I'm like, great, thank you.
How do you guys ever do anything together?
Do you know what? We've touched on this before. I think one of you always has one of me around.
Yeah, because they need that in their life.
Yeah. So while you're going crazy,
enough behavior.
I'm there troubleshooting. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
right, doing this now. No, okay, we're gonna get here later.
kinda
Okay,
like
cool.
being
No,
told
that's
what to do,
alright. That's
do you?
alright. That's alright.
Not enough, baby. What?
Anyway, sorry.
Nice.
Switch corners. Leave that.
I'm not in shock.
But then that just makes me think of, as you touched upon, how much control do we have in our planning? Because like even reminds me of this morning when I just turned up when you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
When you were supposed to be
Do
like
not
spending
let
time
Twizzler
prepping.
Actually, interrupt your piece.
Like at the end of the day, we're not the author of our own lives. So you're planning like 3 years in advance. I would say, well, how would you know? Well, you don't know.
I'm not, and
I don't know.
do you know what? I think it was, but it was there was a teacher we had at drama school, Brian Parsons. He said, plan, but plan loosely.
But
Like,
do plan.
but do plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's me.
Like
Hey, Brian.
Shoot.
I will more like, and I do this at work. There are certain things that you know could possibly go wrong. So I'm going to prep for those things to go wrong. Because if you come in, things are naturally going to change, shift, as is. But if those things are changing and shifting, and the things that you knew could have gone wrong as well go wrong, and you didn't plan for that, then you're dealing with that, plus another, plus another.
Yeah.
And to me, that's it's wasted time. Like big things, I don't worry about in the slightest. Like in a situation? Like in a crisis. That's the word.
We got there.
Like
your words.
I'm awesome in a crisis. Like I will just shift into focus, and if I'm under pressure, I'm just very legit. But it's when loads of little things go wrong. That's where I go because I'm holding up the big things. So then I'll allow the little things to drop, and then I'll freak out about those because I know the big things are sound.
Sounds like you prepare. You
I
really
do.
prepare.
Yeah, because I feel that I need to.
Yeah.
But I'm all right with that changing, and now I'm all right with other people not knowing because it's all right that they don't know because it's my stuff.
We don't need to.
So no one needs to know. As long as you know what you're doing and where you're going, and that's going to change, and it's all right because if it changes, it's meant to change.
Yeah.
And then whatever info you have coming in and out, I really feel like that's testing you and reminding you of where you want to go.
And there's no shame in changing.
And there's absolutely no shame in that whatsoever.
I'm quite surprised that I think I identify mostly with what Raji's saying actually. Yeah, and
This
I'm
is
quite
a miracle.
surprised because I didn't.
I would just like to say this.
Because
This is a miracle.
because like I don't know. I think I do wake up in the morning and think, oh, let's see what's going to happen, Lord, because you know I ask God what's going to happen, and I just go along with. I didn't really. Yeah, I'm really surprised that. No offense, but I know it sounds awful, but yeah. That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Choice believes in me.
So there was a topic we spoke about, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, which was just someone telling their story, but it ended up having certain repercussions. Some people who were involved in said story, not spoken about nor mentioned by names, were offended, and then we got asked to take that video down. And my response was no, because it's still up. Go watch it, thanks. Because the whole idea of this was to create a forum, a community where people told their stories and were honest and open, and this is a safe space to do that. And then hopefully that would connect with some people who were going through the same thing, because if one of us has gone through it, it's more than likely that one of you have gone through it. And then that got me into the idea of our next topic, which is victim shaming. And as a society, as humans, are we as understanding as we would like to think we are? And are people afraid to tell the stories about what they've been through because they might be silenced, shunned, not believed, etc.? And I just wanted to open that up as a subject.
I think it's an insecurity, personally, speaking on personal experience. Until I was ready to talk about certain things in my life, I was very insecure about them, that they were very put in a closed box. And when you do get to that point where you speak about things, you almost feel liberated. And then there's people that don't want you to discuss things that you might be ready to talk about. They might not be ready to talk about it because they're still dealing with their insecurities and their demons.
So can I ask a question? If someone had come to you talking about a similar situation that you've been through, but before you were ready to talk about it, would that have made you be like, I don't want to talk about it? Or would it have been okay for them to talk about it?
100% I'd be okay to talk about it. I've spoken about certain things that have happened in my life with my friends, and it's fine, but some things, you talk about it on a larger scale, or publicly, for example, I think it's two different things. But I would never ever shut down one of my friends if they came to me and wanted to talk about things that I'm possibly dealing with. I would never be like, oh, I don't talk about that, you know, it reminds me of myself, because that's selfish and that makes me not a very good friend. I would always...
But do you think a lot of people are as aware as you are? Do you think people might... Because most people, or I think people should do a lot of self-reflection, look at how you are as a person, but maybe not everyone does that. So maybe when you come to me talking about X, Y, Z, and I'm actually dealing with that myself, but I don't know necessarily that troubles me, so then when you come to me to talk about it, I'm like, why are you talking about this madness? Keep quiet, kind of thing. Do you see what I mean? So rather than me actually know that, forget how it's making me feel, let me help you with it. Maybe what I'm doing is I'm reflecting on myself and then pushing you away for it or shunning you for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think I would ever I wouldn't be upset if you did that to me.
Oh yeah, but I try not to, you know. But obviously, maybe you don't know it.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe then inadvertently, I'd be like, I'd play down what you're telling me. Without knowing that the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to address it. So then for you, that's me telling you, no, what you're saying is wrong, or no, so I'm saying to you, no, calm down, what's your problem, kind of thing. But what I'm trying to do is tell myself, it's not as bad as it seems, because I'm actually really stressed about it, if that makes sense.
No, yeah,
so I reckon people probably do that quite a bit, if that makes sense.
I'm definitely aware of what I share and with who, and I'm aware of possibly making someone uncomfortable with if I'm struggling.
Yeah.
And so I'm quite conscious about who I share my struggles with. And even my very best friends, sometimes I feel like I don't want to share how my struggles. And that's probably more to do with me and not them. But it's interesting. I am aware of not making someone else uncomfortable from me going through something.
Yeah.
I think if victims are created from a situation that affects like a community, the shame might come from the community feeling shame themselves. Like, why are you presenting yourself as a victim when this is what our community does?
Okay,
Do you know what I'm saying?
Such as...
Like, I don't want to talk about a particular situation, but if it's, just say you've got a group of people who all live with a certain behaviour, and someone stands up and says, this behaviour has hurt me and I want to stand up against it. Everyone who's still involved with that behaviour might then victim shame that person because they are still in that community. They might not want to leave. They might want to still identify it because they embrace it as, this is who we are, this is how we've always done it. Why are you bringing shame upon us? So that's how I'm kind of thinking.
Maybe not
that's
bringing
why,
shame upon us, but highlighting the shame.
Or maybe
I mean? Because say I'm in the community, you're in the community, and both of us don't like whatever's the action is, but you stood up and said this is wrong. Now I might turn and say to you, sit down and keep quiet. Not because necessarily I don't agree with what you're saying, but because I don't have the guts to get up and do it myself. It's going to cause a problem. Then everyone's going to, if they know it's happened to you, they're all going to know it's happened to me. Like, or do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So rather than, so it might not even be the people who are doing that action. It might be the other victims that are like, stop it, because you highlighting your crap highlights mine. Do you see what I mean?
Then, leading on from that, would you have your Rosa Parkses? Would you have your Martin Luther Kings?
No,
if
I
everyone's feeling this way, and then the one person that's about to stand up and say something so you can make a change, you then shame that person into silence, that person who is trying to help you and themselves. That just doesn't
It doesn't make sense.
compute to
Yeah,
me.
but it doesn't make sense until I say what I've just said, which is, but now you're highlighting my stuff and I don't want that highlighted. So I agree with you, you wouldn't have those people and you need those people.
But you
I'm
do
saying
want to
other
highlight
people.
it.
No, but I don't, because I'm
You do,
ashamed.
you don't, but
I
you
do,
do.
but I don't. Do you see what I mean?
You don't, but you do.
So then, for me, it might be easier for me to, obviously not me personally, but I'm sort of playing devil's advocate. That
Yeah,
makes
no.
sense.
Yeah.
For me, saying, no, stop that, I do want it highlighted, but I don't want anyone to know. So it's easier for me to stand against you with everyone else than it is for me to stand up with you. So I've got a choice to make, and maybe my shame puts me on the wrong side of where I should be, if that makes sense.
I used to be like that, and as I've grown into a mature woman, I've realised that everybody has their own opinions, and I think as human beings, it comes down to what we spoke about last time, and love each other and respect an individual's response. Like, there's situations in my past where someone said something and I thought, whoa, don't want to talk about that, and I'll just completely switch off from the person. But now, I won't, it's not about me, it's about the conversation you're having with the person about what they're talking about. So I think it's just embrace, talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it, but then it comes to the level of friendship that you have with that person, you know how far to go. Like what you said, similar, you know how far to go with the situation and what to talk about and what not to talk about. So it's a comfort zone and respect.
Okay,
for
but
the
let's
other
take it
person.
out of just friendships and take it out into a bigger arena, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So me and you talking about stuff, I know you don't ever want to hurt me because we're friends, and you know I don't ever want to hurt you because we're friends. But say we're out and someone says something to you about a situation that's yours, because they don't like it themselves, but because...
But that's their
Do you see-
opinion, and you have to respect that opinion.
But it hurts you.
Do you know what? That was a lesson that I learned. Because I was going through some stuff. And I think like I wasn't drinking for a little bit. And then I went out and there was someone that I found attractive. But me, I'm very shy and I'll get very nervous. But they were with friends. So I was like, okay, cool. So if I'm cool with all their friends, then eventually like it worked, come back to them. And then after I'd had a couple of drinks, I was like, sweet! So I started talking to them and like, oh, you want to talk to me now that you've had a couple of drinks? So you've got a bit of are you drunk? And now you can, and they were making to this whole big issue, and I like felt so bad and like, oh my god, am I an alcoholic? I only speak to people when I'm
You're like, oh, thanks, oh my god, I'm going crazy.
And then they were like, yeah, I don't drink anymore, I had a bit of it. And then 3 weeks later, I saw that person at a party where I was stone cold sober and they were drunk as hell. And then I knew that whole situation was absolutely
yours,
nothing to do with me.
It's
It
their
was
problem.
their problem being not even reflected back at them, but they were seeing the demon in themselves that they didn't like and they were throwing that out on you. So sometimes it's unintentional that people are making you feel bad because they, as we were saying, are afraid to address something themselves.
Do you know what I would say to that? Sorry, it literally, a lot of the time it's that I only see things from my point of view. So what's happened in my past colours the way I'm going to see things, which is why I ask a lot of questions. I want to know your reason behind what you've done rather than just what you've done. Because for me, if I'd have done that, it would be because of this. But let me ask you why you did that. Because maybe it's because of something else and you didn't actually intend to hurt me with it. Do you see what I mean? So rather than just know the act that hurt me, I want to know why you did it, because maybe we can get past that because you didn't mean to hurt me, and if I tell you it hurt me, maybe we can change that. Do you see what I mean?
I think that's an incredibly grown-up and responsible way to look at things, and that's how I look at things. But no, it looked like it is.
It does.
And generally people share a lot with me.
Don't tell anybody what I told you.
Like, do you know how many people's secrets I've got in there? I ain't going nowhere, I'm a vault. But no, people do just open up with me, and because you're not going to be judged.
Yeah.
No matter what you've done, whatever you've done, I will try and be as understanding and make you feel good about you.
Yeah.
Because you're already feeling bad about yourself. That's already the story you've got running around in your head. I don't need to become the person that comes and adds to that story. You're feeling bad, you're lying on the floor. Yeah, let me kick you and say go back on the floor. I'm gonna give you a hug,
Probably would.
lift you up.
Love you.
Don't fall on the floors now. No, but I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna give you a hug, I'm gonna pick you up and say we all fall down. Because everyone else is already stepping over you. And you're already stepping over yourself. So I'm not gonna add to that. Because that's just, I don't, it just doesn't compute in my head how.
I used to be quite arrogant.
that.
I used to be quite arrogant and maybe stuck up about it and thinking, oh, that person's crazy, like, get away from me, you're nuts. But as I've grown up and I've dealt with my demons and stuff, I've realised that I was that person and no one understood me. So for me, it's easier to, I don't know, I find it, if I talk to strangers and they talk about things that you wouldn't talk about on a regular thing, I try and embrace it as much as I can because I try and understand it from how I was and where I was. And sometimes it's nice to talk to a stranger and for them to talk about stuff, because sometimes it's harder for them to talk about things about people that are in their life or close to them, and not judge people. Like, I try my best not to judge people. It's not fair. But people used to judge me all the time, and now that's why I find it easier to embrace people and how they are. And if I meet someone that's moody or cranky, I'm thinking, well, there must be something behind it, or there's a personality, or that's just you, and that's fine, and I respect the person for who they are. But if you're a total moron, I'm gonna punch you in the throat.
Not literally.
I feel like I cut Emma there, so I'm gonna ask Emma what she was gonna say before.
Well, I feel like we're talking about two things. We're talking about sharing, and then and then
sharing and then shaming and stopping them.
Victim shaming. So
Yeah.
what exactly is victim shaming? Because when you say that, what comes to mind is someone who has been victimized genuinely, and then there's a response either from sort of family, like the family system or tribe, you know, going, you're not playing the game anymore, or it's public shaming for being victimized. Is that
You get a lot of.
I think it's more getting it to a place of why don't people open up? And is that to do with them? Or is that to do with us? Now, I don't share a lot with a lot of people. And I know exactly where that comes from. And I still don't. As a child, I was bullied literally non-stop every single day for the best part of a decade. To the point where there were lunch times where as soon as the bell rang, I would run to this one geography, so I'm fast, like you can't catch me. I would run to this one geography room and I would sit under the windowsill by myself because I knew they wouldn't find me in there. And that's just because I was the different kid at school. I'm a child. I've not made any decisions. Kindly don't make those decisions for me. It got to a point where I would fight back and then I started getting in trouble. And then when the teachers would ask me, oh, why did they do that? I'm like, there was no reason, I didn't do anything. Oh, well, you must have done something. I was like, no, there was no reason, I didn't do anything. And then I'd go home and tell my mum, who was just getting a call that her son has been suspended or he's got into a fight. She's like, well, why did they do that? I'm like, what did you do? I'm like, I didn't do anything. And I told her, all the people who were meant to help you, I said, I didn't do anything. And they didn't believe me. And I genuinely didn't do anything. So the people who were meant to help you, didn't. So that's when
you did.
Because it must have been something that I did. So that's why I've turned myself into a little island.
That's why it's all about you.
I will take care of myself because I don't put any trust in people to do that for me. And that I'm fine with, I'm cool with. But that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes maybe no one did something to them. Support that person who's trying to speak to you, who's trying to cry out. Because once that's gone, it's gone. But now if anyone does anything to me, I'm nonplussed.
And I guess that's the shaming is you must deserve
something.
this.
You must
You
deserve
must have
that.
participated.
It must have been something that you did. Oh, you dressed like that, so they should have done this to you. Oh, they this. No, I was just being myself. And like that's why I track it back to I was a child. So are you really gonna go to the point of telling a child that they did something to deserve that? No. You got issues. Alright guys, now this is my favourite part of the show. Pet peeves. Now everyone's still, I think, like thinking about theirs, but I know mine, so I'm gonna go. Alright, now y'all know me, and y'all are getting to know me. So I get into what I like to call a lot of spirited discussions. Now,
That's what you want to call them?
when I'm having a spirited discussion with you, I'm having a spirited discussion with you. When someone goes, oh, blah blah blah, don't you feel that law does this and this? I'm like, And then when they go, oh, well, last week, Bick and Boo were saying the same thing. And I'm like,
The whole crowd in.
no, I am having a conversation with you, not you and Bick and Boo. That's my pet peeve. If I'm having a discussion, and I was in a spirited discussion with 5 people, and I had a friend over there, and he was like, I was gonna jump in, but you seemed fine by yourself, and I'm like, yes, and yes I was.
Like I need to meet Bick and Boo.
Yeah. I just got friends called Bick and Boo. You name your teddy bear.
There were no teddy bears, bro. Alright, so that's my pet peeve. Like, don't, if you're having a spirited discussion, it's between 2 people, like, don't bring it back up. Why do you need backup? I don't need backup. Sorry.
I think we should go with Rob.
Okay, so ladies.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Actually, some men as well. Some men. Fake tan.
Sorry.
Stop it. If you're gonna wear it, know how to wear it. Don't go out looking like a moron. And all that business in between your toes, and your toes are like that, and your hands are all patched, and then you've got like a neck that looks like you haven't bathed for like a month, and then you've got this like dark tash, and you just look fucked up. Sorry, but like it's.
We may have to beat that out later.
No, it's like.
Ain't no bleeping, is
come on,
it?
like,
Say what you want.
I know it sounds really like. Some people might think I'm being rude. I was born with a 10.
Yeah. I think like you can say this.
Yeah. No, but people need to know. Like girls need to know. Like if you're out and you're wearing fake tan, like at least know how to wear it. Don't like. Do you not see yourself?
I think you should start your own YouTube channel on how to wear fake tan.
But then I'm not how to wear it because I'm Indian.
How to correctly apply it, how to make sure you
There's
don't get the funk.
mittens, there's sprays, there's salons, there's beds, and there's a thing called a holiday, darling.
There we go.
Go and get a real one.
There it is.
Tan it right, not shy.
I'm anti-fake tan. I'm anti-fake tan. There's only one person in my life that knows how to apply fake tan. Hi, Sarah.
Hey girl.
Hey.
So camera lady.
Yeah, she's behind the camera. Fake tan's amazing. It's never streaky, and it's not in there, and your toes, and...
Alright, calm. Calm, I feel this is it.
The stress.
I'm really angry in pet peeves, not an angry person.
That's the point. Alright, so who's got their pet peeve next?
I've got a pet.
Alright, here we go.
I mean, it's not as funny, but it does get to me. It does get to me. Like, I don't really want to always have to represent my race.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yes!
She
Like,
Yes!
She took it there.
Like, no, because like, okay, you have to do it as. you find yourself in a position where you're with people who haven't been exposed to people of your colour before. So it's like you kind of have to be on good behaviour, and it's like I don't really want to be on good behaviour. But then you've got the other side of it where you're stared at because apparently you're so beautiful, which okay.
Obs. Clearly.
But
There goes the hair.
you're saying that because I'm the only black person in the room.
Is that why they say it? I just thought that was pretty.
No, seriously.
Oh.
Oh, the shade. Gosh.
No, because I went somewhere once, walked in, and the whole place went silent. And then it took about half an hour for people to come one by one, start telling me, "Oh, you're so beautiful." But it's like you just want to have a drink. Just want to be like one of the people.
No.
And it's, I don't know. It's just a bit.
Got to go to different pubs.
No.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's my pet peeve. But thanks for the compliments, but let me have a drink.
Okay, so my pet peeve is the I don't eat pork. So every time, whenever you're anywhere and you say, "Oh no, I don't eat pork," are you Muslim? No. It really grates me that apparently the only people who don't eat pork are Muslims. Get to know some Seventh Day Adventists, they don't eat pork either. But just because I don't eat pork doesn't mean that I'm Muslim. It's not a thing. The two don't correlate. Stop asking me. It's my pet peeve.
Okay. Well, you know when you're on the tube and someone is playing their music or their game out loud?
Oh, I don't do it out loud. Sorry, go. Shut up.
It may be rubbish, but it really pisses me off. And but then you've got the added very British thing where no one actually says anything, but including me, shoots them a few disapproving looks and tries to work out where the sound is coming from, but nothing is done about it, and that's it. That's that.
Okay.
Sorry.
As one of those people, I don't play it out loud. I just play my earphones really loud. If someone just gives me a little nod, I'll be like, "Oh my god, of course I'll turn it down." If someone shoots me a look, I'm gonna turn it up as loud as I can.
And dance.
And have a rave right next to you.
Yeah, because generally I don't realise, but I'm like, if you give me a nice, I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." If you give me a, I'm like, "Shh, shh, shh, what?" Okay, so you see that's the side of the tube and that side of the
They're waiting up on the tube.
No tube etiquette, guys. No tube etiquette.
Okay. Alright, so now this brings us on to the question of the episode. And today's question is, what would you say to your younger self with all the life experience that we have, even though we're still young and very fresh? What would you say to your even younger self?
I was doing my surprise. Okay, so I'd probably tell my younger self, always be you and things will get better. Because I think I wasted a lot of time trying to not be me. And then once you just accept that you can't not be you, and just be you, things get a lot easier. Trust me.
That's good advice.
So that would be my advice, yeah.
You said me next. Okay. My younger self. Keep it moving. I don't know, it's a really weird one for me. It's a bit of a...
Do you want us to come back to you?
Yeah, can you come back to me please? I just need to make sure I word it right because I don't sound like just going...
Oh,
Ooh,
sorry.
no, you're ready, go.
Oh no, I just wanted to make a side note because when I was young, I thought I'd send myself a letter to my future self.
Okay.
And give my future self some advice. Because I anticipated that I was going to have a hard time. So in my letter to myself, I was like, Joyce, calm down. It's going to get better. All of this encouraging... I'll just wait to say that because I thought...
So it's
Like
just
young
keeping it-
self is so sweet. So I would say, you go girl, carry on.
Yes!
Yes, Sister Jo.
Snap.
No, young Joyce was very, very wise.
Oh, thank you.
No, she was.
I don't know what happened.
She
She was right.
Oh, it's hard to
Yeah.
make it one thing. I would say you're beautiful and it's going to be okay, and chill out.
Yeah. I would give myself a hug. Because that boy needed a hug.
Oh.
Boy still needs a hug. But I do give the best hugs. No, I would say you were right. You still won't understand it. And it'll get harder, but you'll get stronger. Nice and vague as I No, as a child, I didn't get why people were mean. I just didn't understand it. And because people were mean to me, I tried not to be mean to anyone else. And like, so I didn't understand, like, if you've been hurt, how could you hurt people? And I still don't get this to this day, and it still hurts my soul, but it's a little bit easier now than it was then. Alright, come on, TikTok, wrap it up.
For me, I think I would say to my younger self, it's okay to be different. I always felt like a bit of a black sheep. So yeah, I would always, I think, I still say it to myself now actually. It's okay to be different, you know, it's good to be out of the box and in the box. So I think that's, I'm gonna stick with that one.
Okay.
Alright guys, well, thank you again for watching, and as you already know, our Facebook page is www.facebook.com/kitchen table talk, all as one word. And if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, send it to us, find us, tell us, comment, and until next time, love and light.